Collaboration and participation. This is, to me, the next wave, right? Collaborative authoring means, and my definition is probably very different than yours, right? I'm like stepping outside the organization and getting customers to contribute, fans to contribute, not saying, oh, we've got 3 people on our writing team, we are collaborating. You're on the payroll, you're on the same team. That really shouldn't be called collaboration in my mind, but I'm a little edgier in that kind of context. I think people have focused on creating content and becoming skilled at, we have a creation team now. We can make good content. The next wave is also to think about how can we get more out of the content we've already built, right? And that becomes an issue of collaboration. And that says, how can we use all of our employees to share our stuff socially, right? There are tools out there that will allow you to do that. How can I find marketing partners who will automatically share my content? There are tools out there that do that. And then beyond that, how are you embracing consumer sharing? People who just find your stuff and love it and share it. How are you embracing that even further and facilitating user-generated content, contests, social engagement? How are you sparking conversation? Because when you do that, it's not just you, it becomes many and significantly more than just a few. What's our process for finding stuff, right? So we basically find stuff, we read it, we share it, and then that eventually distills into stuff that we actually publish. If you think about it, we used to do all of this stuff alone. But you don't have to anymore. Like Noz gave the example yesterday perfectly. The Kindle is not a solitary reading experience. I get social proof as I read through any book, this paragraph was popular, right? I'm like, when I read it, I feel like I'm a hamster. Like I read it, I go, oh, that's popular, highlight. Like, I'm just trying to make it more obvious for the next guy that comes along, And we don't discover books together. Like, there's an awesome book I absolutely love called The Dream Society, which is by a Danish guy, and a friend of mine actually had it on his shelf, right? So it was real social, real world, one-to-one. I touched the book and went, what's that? He said, oh, that's awesome, you should read it. So I did. But I bought it on Amazon. So I left a trail behind me. Next thing I know, I go to Amazon and look at another book, and it says, people who read this book read The Dream Society. I said, oh, if I want to keep my research secret, I shouldn't use Amazon, right? But really, what I should be doing is driving it the other way and say, make everything I do social, because I saw you reading that. What's going on? Where'd you find that? What was the inspiration for that book? Start a conversation, be open, be transparent. Do not research alone, right? If you want to research alone, that's fine, but you won't find as much stuff. And really, if a competitor finds your ideas that you're reading, good luck, right? They haven't got your lens. Your perception is your reality. They will see completely different stuff, even if they read the same content. So I have a full-blown model of that, which is a different side leg and beyond the context of this talk today. So the world has transitioned. Talking about self-service is not new. I reiterate here the 1990. Who's heard of 1990? I'm reiterating something perhaps you've not heard of. It's called the 1% rule, right? Very, very simple. It applies universally across the whole internet, pretty much. 1% of people are creators in any given instance, right? 9% curate. They comment and contribute to that content, and 90% lurk, right? It's funny because you think like Instagram has turned many more people into creators, but we can't create all of the time. I can't walk along and go, snap, 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 share, 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 right? And be this. I can't do that because I have a life to live. And you can intersperse. So you decide where you're going to share, right? I have my 1% capacity for creation, and I choose where I put that, right? I choose which brands I choose to mention. I then spend my time lurking or just commenting on some stuff. But the funniest thing is, you're close when someone says today, I'm just lurking. That's a pleading invite. It's like, will you invite me into the conversation? Like, that happens so much on Twitter. You're having a chat with people and somebody pops in with, I'm just lurking. That is they are like, please invite me in. And if you don't listen, you don't say, hey, the best thing you can do on social media is to actually welcome people. Make the newcomers feel like rock stars. Like, I was part of a group called Us Guys on Twitter, And we had this thing we used to add a hashtag. When someone else asked, what is us guys? We'd welcome them to tribe with a hash, ring the tribal bell. Everybody in the group would retweet it. Some new people like, whoa, 60 retweets, I'm a hero, right? They felt so such belonging with that context, right? Culture on the internet starts with you. I tweeted that first tribal bell, and that thing began, right? It just began to roll. So never say, oh, we can't do that in our culture. Just be the first person to be the culture, right? Nash Greer made the culture. So, yeah. And I love habit, right? Habit is the new everything, black, orange, whatever you want it to be. If you don't understand what's driving, if people don't use your product habitually, your ability to be social with that brand is vastly diminished, right? So if you don't understand habit, you want to get behind that. There's some awesome books on habit. I think I mentioned before a book called Hooked. Reality is Broken. If anyone wants any book recommendations, I have them coming out my ears. So this is just the context of we've gone beyond commenting. People want social content. We view it as a right, in my mind. The old model, I'm on stage, I'm the band, you can comment. You're in the audience, right? That's the old model. I'm not changing my blog post. You can comment all you like. Duplicate your comments, whatever you want. There can be 1,000 comments below, but you'll only see 10 of them because there'll be like a below the fold thing, right? I'm not really listening to you when I ask you to comment. The new model is, hey, here's a guitar, come on up on stage. Join me. Be part of my authoring experience. Be part of my brand. Hey, why don't you just run it for me, right? I mean, with my board game, I got the idea for crowdsourcing content from Jones Soda. Who knows Jones Soda? So they basically, every bottle on Jones Soda only has user-generated photos on the label. If they pick your label, you get a case. It's genius. We've transformed, the tools have transformed us. Culture, one step at a time, has changed the way we approach these things. Maybe you've never used Pinterest, you've never used Reddit. It doesn't matter, that's the cultural norms are set. So you turn up at those sites and you see how they behave. Human beings don't walk in and be different. We comply. Even punk rockers hang out with other punk rockers and be the same, right? However rebellious you are, you hang out with people like you, and the internet makes that insanely easy to do.